Today I'm going to describe replacing the stock PM25 BLDC drive with one from Anaheim Automation. Now, reasons for making this replacement include the original driver lacks documentation, may be hard to obtain a replacement. It's slow to stop and reverse the direction of the spindle, which limits rigid tapping, and it lacks a fault indicator, a signal that can be used in an e-stop circuit. Now, there is an LED on the board that can be replaced with a optocoupler, and that could be used in the e-stop circuit, but the signal comes too late to prevent a crash, so it's really not useful. On paper, the Anaheim Automation drive appears like a perfect replacement, and it runs a spindle at nearly 6,000 RPM. There's also a pulse per revolution line that may be useful if you're not able to use the stock PM25 TAC without a divider circuit. The Anaheim Automation drive has a nice enclosure and connectors, and compared to the stock BLDC drive, it's much more complex internally. Now, the simplicity of the stock BLDC drive means it's repairable, with the exception of the STM microprocessor, which I've not found a way to read the firmware out of, which means that if you are replacing it, you're going to have to write your own firmware. The Anaheim Automation drive has both open and closed loop modes, while the stock BLDC drive is probably only open loop. Regardless, the stock BLDC drive has better speed regulation following a speed change than the Anaheim Automation drive does in closed loop operation. It's as though the proportional value of the PID loop of the Anaheim Automation drive is just too large, and you can't change those settings. Stopping the Anaheim Automation BLDC drive requires sequencing of the freewheel and run-stop signals, and that requires additional relays. It also requires that the fault latch be disabled on the BLDC drive. The Anaheim Automation support staff were great and clearly engineers, and after several exchanges they offered to have at their cost the drive and the motor sent to them for optimization. This wasn't something I was able to do because of the time that the mill would be down, but it was great of them to offer. A couple other observations: while the fault light lights, the fault line never goes high, and it's not useful even in a latching e-stop circuit. Also, at speeds less than 1,000 RPM, the torque is so low at the spindle that it's easily stopped, so those lower speeds aren't usable. 1,000 RPM, open loop. 1,000 RPM closed loop. The Anaheim Automation drive may work better with one of their motors, but the cost quickly escalates, and doing so replaces more hardware than I intended to. In the end, the Anaheim Automation drive is not a suitable drop-in replacement for the stock PM25 BLDC drive. Unless you only want to run the spindle at those higher RPMs, it's probably not suitable. And given the cost, there's more general solutions available. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be tearing this down and getting back to work. And as always, thank you for watching.